The Council of Eternal Stars had existed for 3 million years, watching civilizations rise and fall across galaxies like fleeting candles in an endless night. Their archives contained warnings, prophecies, and predictions gathered from 1,000 extinct species, each carefully catalogued and preserved. But there was one prophecy that had haunted them for millennia, warning etched in crystalline memory by the ancient Varathians before their mysterious disappearance. It spoke of a species that would emerge from a blue world in a forgotten spiral arm, a species that would break every natural law of civilization, a species that would be humanity's greatest threat to the cosmic order. William Chen stood at the observation deck of the human colony ship Perseverance, his calloused hands pressed against the cool transparistelle. Behind him, Kylie Morrison reviewed navigation charts, her auburn hair tied back in a practical bun, eyes sharp with the kind of focus that had made her the youngest chief navigator in the fleet. "We're approaching the Council's neutral zone," Kylie announced, her voice cutting through William's thoughts. "They've been broadcasting warnings for the past 3 hours." William turned, his weathered face creasing into a slight smile. "Let me guess, turn back, primitive species, or face annihilation?" "Close." Kylie pulled up the translation. "It's more like the prophesied one's approach. Containment protocols initiated. May the cosmos forgive us." "Cheerful," William muttered. What the Council didn't understand, what they couldn't understand, was that humanity had never learned to stop. Every other species in the known universe had evolved with built-in limiters, biological imperatives that said enough. The Zerklath stopped expanding when they had sufficient resources. The Melodian collective ceased innovation once harmony was achieved. Even the warlike Krevish knew when a battle was unwinnable and retreated. Humanity had no such switch. Kylie had discovered this truth during her xenoanthropology studies at New Cambridge. She'd written her thesis on it, "The Absence of Satisfaction, Humanity's Evolutionary Anomaly." Her professors had called it pessimistic. She'd called it accurate. "Council fleet detected," the ship's AI announced. 417 vessels. "Weapons charging." William moved to the command console beside Kylie. They'd been partners for 7 years, ever since the Mars Rebellion, and had developed the kind of wordless communication that made them dangerous to their enemies and invaluable to their allies. "Options?" William asked. Kylie's fingers danced across holographic displays. "We're outgunned approximately 400 to 1. They have superior shields, faster than light inhibitors, and if the intelligence reports are accurate, temporal displacement weapons. So we're screwed." "By any rational calculation, yes." William grinned. "Good thing humans aren't rational." The Council's flagship, a massive dreadnought that had witnessed the fall of empires, hung in space like a silver monument to inevitability. Inside, Archon Velcaris reviewed the prophecy once more, his 3 hearts beating in anxious syncopation. "They will not come with overwhelming force." The ancient text read, "They will come with fragile ships and soft bodies, but they carry within them a fire that cannot be extinguished, a hunger that cannot be sated, a stubbornness that defies cosmic law. They will be called human, and they will be the end of all things or the beginning. The human vessel is not retreating." His tactical officer reported. "As predicted," Velcaris whispered. Kylie's plan was insane, which is why William loved it. While the Council fleet expected either surrender or a suicidal charge, she'd plotted a course that would take them through the gravity well of a nearby neutron star, using the extreme tidal forces to slingshot around the Council's formation. "This has a 13% chance of not killing us," Kylie noted clinically. "Better than 0. William replied, "What happened next would be studied in military academies for generations." The Perseverance dove toward the neutron star at speeds that made her hull groan and her inertial dampeners scream. The Council ships, bound by their programming and their careful, cautious nature, hesitated for 3.7 seconds, an eternity in combat. That hesitation was fatal to their perfect formation. The human ship whipped around the neutron star, emerged behind the Council fleet, and did something no species had ever attempted. She fired her main engines directly at the dreadnought, while simultaneously launching every single mining charge in her cargo hold charges, meant for asteroid excavation, not warfare. The Council had weapons designed to destroy planets. Humanity had repurposed mining equipment, and desperation in the chaos that followed. Kylie kept calculating, kept adjusting, her mind working faster than the Council's quantum computers because she had something. They didn't the ability to make intuitive leaps that defied logic. William kept the crew calm, his voice steady even as the ship threatened to tear apart. Because humanity had learned long ago that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but action in spite of it. The Perseverance shouldn't have survived. By every calculation, every model, every prediction, she should have been atomized. But the mining charges created a debris field that disrupted the Council's targeting systems. The neutron star's gravity well interfered with their temporal weapons, and humanity's sheer, bloody-minded refusal to accept the inevitable created possibilities that shouldn't have existed. When the dust settled, the Perseverance was battered, listing, her engines barely functional. But she was still flying, and the Council fleet, for the first time in 3 million years, had retreated. Arch and Valkyris stared at the tactical display in something approaching religious awe. The prophecy had been right, but not in the way they'd feared. Humanity wasn't a threat because they were powerful. They were a threat because they didn't know when to quit. On the observation deck, William and Kylie stood side by side, watching the Council ships withdraw. "They'll be back," Kylie said quietly. "Probably." William agreed. "And next time they'll be ready for our tricks. Then we'll come up with new ones." Kylie looked at him, seeing the determination in his eyes that she'd seen in every human she'd ever met, that stubborn, beautiful, terrifying refusal to accept limits. "We're going to change the galaxy, aren't we?" she asked. William smiled. "We already have." The prophecy had been right. Humanity was a threat not to peace or order or civilization, but to the idea that anything was impossible. And in a universe that had grown comfortable with its limitations, that was the most dangerous thing of all. Behind them, the rest of the Perseverance's crew began repairs. They had a mission to complete, a colony to establish, and a universe to explore. The Council's warnings didn't matter. The impossible odds didn't matter, because that's what humans did. They persevered.